You are listening to the ReRACEables Podcast.
Give you a nice little detour.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the ReRACEables Podcast, Season 36, Episode 2. Welcome, Josh. Welcome, Nicole. We're back again.
Hello.
How's it going?
All right, folks, let's get right to it. We finally end the Mega Leg, and in 3 hours of watching Puerto Vallarta Mega Leg, we finally have an end to it. We have a second team eliminated, and no surprises. It's Chris, it's Mary, it's the black team. It's the number 13 teams out of 13 that Josh and I had ranked. No surprises here.
Absolutely none. If we go back to our team averages chart, they were way behind everybody else in any sort of ranking. So it's kind of nice to cut some fat off the board.
Yeah, it was their time. I would say they were the most deserving to not deserve a place. And, a little concerning that we had not one, but two teams that medically had some concerns here.
Yeah. There was a moment where I thought Danny and Angie might be on their way out with a medical situation. Fortunately for them, that's not the case. But going back to Chris and Mary, it almost felt like I don't want to say they wanted to get out, because I don't think they wanted to get out.
No.
But they knew they were never going to win.
Yeah, they had accepted their fate. But I wonder if going into this race, did they know that they would be one of the first teams out?
They had to. I rank them in the didn't want to win or didn't need to win category. And that's clear. That's evident, right? They weren't really running to every location. They did sit down to drink their electrolytes. They even when they got to
Nearly vomited
multiple times. She's like, if you have to vomit, just don't vomit on me.
She had to say it 4 times.
Yeah.
Go over there. What the hell are you doing?
Don't face her.
The only thing we were missing from their story was Jeff Probst at the starting line saying, some of you will never win because you're just never going to win, like he said at the beginning of Survivor 46. So I think that notion applies. And Chris and Mary, we bid you adios. Kind of sad, too, that their amazing race was literally 2 legs, but one day.
One city.
One city. Which brings me to my next point, if I may. The Mega Leg, I know we were kind of wishy-washy. We weren't really feeling it. We got a little bit of renewed, right at the end of last week because Maya and Rohan did get eliminated. But, Josh, what do you think about the Mega Leg and just the viewing experience? Feels exhausting.
Yeah, it really was exhausting. And I don't know. I kind of pose this question back at you. Is it exciting to watch teams making mistakes and being literally tired and passing out and needing breaks and getting their face painted while they're dead on the ground? Or is it actually more exciting to watch people who are fit and smart and challenging and being kick-ass and traveling the country? I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of like seeing people making mistakes and getting their face. Before he started painting her on the ground, before the commercial break, I turned to Tom and I said, oh, is he gonna paint her while she's laying on the floor?
Danny and Angie, yeah.
Oh, I hope so. And sure enough, he did. And we were like, yeah. I don't know. I like seeing the struggle.
I personally want to see the thoroughbreds run, and I want to see the ultimate competitors, the ultimate challenge beasts, the ultimate strategists. almost like a winner's season, and that would be kind of amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be, if that's where we're really going with this, yeah, I'm in. I think it's probably the relatable piece, the relatableness. You can see yourself in the people who are racing. I'm sure there's plenty of 60-year-old men who are out there seeing Chris on the race and being like, yeah, that would have been me. I mean, that would not be Steve of Steve and Lee, but
He'd never.
But there'd be plenty of guys out there that would relate to that, or the relationships, or a number of things. But I agree with you too, Josh, on I think the whole tired and people about to pass out and the possibility of the medical evacuation, I'm out on. That's not good TV. That's horrible. It makes me feel like almost some team gets cheated out of being cast who wouldn't have passed out, who wouldn't have had that threat, and would have at least gotten eliminated that way. So that unearths this fear in me. So I don't like it for that reason.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting to watch too, especially knowing our power rankings, knowing what we're starting to learn about the teams. We saw a clear people who might win and a clear this is the bottom of the pack. The strong got stronger and the weak got weaker. So maybe there is something to having a mega leg first round that you really separate the men from the boys. That was kind of exciting and kind of really, really telling versus a bunch of people with chickens without heads running all the time.
And I think if we're thinking about who the boys are, to your analogy, like Anthony and Bailey, I think you had the right read on them, Josh. We knew them and their vibe and the whole thing, and they're compensating a little bit or as much as they can, but they are a fish out of water. They are a surfer without a board, man. They are, and they know it. It feels like they know it. And the other team, if I can add, and I want to get your guys' thoughts too. Sonny and Busy, Josh, our number one.
Oh,
I'm chalking it up to they are not a fish out of water, but these challenges are testing them in ways that they're not as comfortable, like the makeup challenge, for example. I don't think the two firefighters are throwing makeup on all that much. And I don't think that that's in their wheelhouse, where a Letitia, a Ricky, Michelle, a Yvonne, or Melissa, you can go down the list. Even Juan and Shane, like, Juan's got a daughter. He's probably seen Coco 4,000 times. He's probably, maybe it's possible that he's dressed up as one of those characters and done the deal. It's all possible. All right, that's a stretch, but my point is, I don't see that in Sonny and Busy's wheelhouse, and I think that that's really tested them. And I'm a little more concerned about their decision to not switch at the detour.
I want to echo that, Tom. I think the issue is that my worry, my hesitation in them is that they didn't say, we're firefighters. Let's literally lift balloons and take them across. That's their job to be able to do that. And for some reason, they did the smarts challenge. So I am worried that maybe they're not going to play the most strategic game to benefit themselves.
So do you think that they should employ the strategy of Rod and Leticia to do a little rock, paper, scissors to decide which one?
That was so ridiculous. And like the fact
that it worked,
they got so lucky that he won that round of rock, paper, scissors, because they would have never been able to do the flags.
You're totally right. You're totally right.
The balloons. No.
They would have never have gotten first place. It would have been a very different leg had she won that round of rock, paper, scissors.
But Josh, rock, paper, scissors to make decisions of which detour? How is that? That is much more concerning than Sonny and Busy's decision to stay in the paper one. And Rod and Leticia won. They got first place. Crazy.
I also think that the instructions for the flag challenge were very unclear.
I had no idea what they were actually doing.
Agreed.
So I don't think it's really a reflection of their abilities.
Okay. Tell me more. I'm buying.
I do think they should have changed challenges earlier on in their struggle, but in their defense, like, I don't think they're stupid. I think it was just very unclear what they had to do.
They were the smartest team, frankly, because nobody else could complete it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if anything, they did show that their brain prowess. I am worried about Rod and Leticia, about their is it their downfall that they play rock, paper, scissors. However, watching them throughout this episode, not that I didn't want to like them, but I did definitely categorize them into the professional athlete and wife group. And I actually thought that he was really supportive of her and they were exciting to watch on TV. And I started to actually really root for them. And maybe that's my own bias, which I think is a fun, empathetic reason to watch The Amazing Race, or to learn about yourself and to learn about different people. But they are really fun to watch, and I think I might be Rod and Leticia fans.
Wait a minute. Do you think they actually are here for the right, here for the right,
here for the right
right
reasons?
I think they are. They're here to, well, except it seems like they're here to have fun, but this is why I ranked them fairly high prior, because I think that they are competitive. It's almost like they want to win. It's not about the money, it's about winning. And she's even like, I'm here for you. Whatever I'm gonna try my hardest so that we can win for you. And that's what's, I think, driving them.
I think that was the big standout for again, go back to the men versus the boys analogy. The teams that really came out of the Mega Leg stronger, like a Rod and Leticia, a Derek and Shalisa, even Team Walla Walla, right? They know kind of the hierarchy. They know how to support each other, and they also know how to push and get to where they need to go and do what they need to do. And when they need to ask somebody for help, they're going to ask somebody for help. If they need to make the alliance and ask other teams for help, then they're going to ask other teams for help. People like Anthony and Bailey, why I think that I'm out on them and I totally misread them or just I didn't ding them enough. They don't know. It's their default is, whoa, my brain can't even look at the colors. I can't handle this. You do it, dude. Like, they're just so dismissive, and that is not helpful at all.
No.
Go ahead.
I was very impressed with Amber and
Vinny.
Vinny
Two Guns.
They really made a good comeback. I don't think that should be overlooked here in naming teams that have done well with the Mega Leg. They went from 12th to 5th. That is really...
No, 12th to 7th. 12th to 7th.
Okay. Still, that's really good.
Well, key thing, though, we knew they were strong. That's why we all ranked them high, correct?
Correct.
We know they're smart. We know that they have pressure-packed jobs where they can compartmentalize and react under control. And, oh, wait, their weakness that showed up in the first leg of the Mega Leg, driving and navigation, they did not have to do.
This is true.
Right? Again, and maybe that's a good part to segue back to the Mega Leg. This part of the Mega Leg, you're only still in Puerto Vallarta. You didn't have to get into a car. You were literally running around what seemed like maybe a couple square block radius. And I think that allows somebody like a Juan and Shane, a Yvonne and Melissa, an Amber and Vinny to kind of just plot along, make no mistakes, have no real issues, and almost be like non-factors in the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, expose some of the teams like Anthony and Bailey, like Kishori and Karishma, Michelle and Sean. Did the Mega Leg itself and the fact that we're so close and everything is so compact, is that the thing to point to as to why they fell from Michelle and Sean went from 5th to 11th, and Kishori and Karishma finished 10th because they found the roadblock clue box before they even found where to go with the detour.
For the iguana bridge in the middle of a park. Come on, guys. Come on. Yeah, you can't blame that on a mega leg. Those are just not strong competitors in my mind. And that's why they fell, because they're not strong. Another not strong team, Juan and Shane. Why would you tell them that they were wrong? It's like, here, just come right back in the game when you can kick them and let them be all the way at the back.
But I feel like it's part mega leg and the condensedness and the fact that the clue box is findable for the roadblock in that.
Yeah.
But Kishori and Karishma are a ticking time bomb. They are panicky. Even when they get to the mat in 10th place, they hug each other and they say how their rider dies or whatever. I love her and we bicker, but they admit that they don't think.
Chaotic is how they
Chaotic.
describe
Thank you.
themselves.
Yes, that was the word. Chaotic. And I agree with them. This is the first leg or second leg, and they're exposed already. I think that the mega leg perhaps reveals that in people. And I think that that's something really revealing, is that they are chaotic. They are panicky. They don't think. They just act, and it's going to catch up with them. Are you as concerned with Michelle and Sean, Nicole? You had them number 1. I had them number 3.
Yeah.
Are we in a yellow, orange, red level high alert?
I'm in a yellow.
Okay.
I'm in a yellow. I think what really messed them up was the tight radius that they were running in.
So you're blaming the mega leg.
I'm blaming the mega leg. If they had, I know it didn't look like a bridge. However,
Josh is not buying it.
if they had been running a leg where they weren't in the 1 mile radius, they would have never have seen a clue box that they shouldn't see.
That's a fair point.
Like, put yourself in their shoes. If you're running this race and you see a clue box, are you not running and ripping open that envelope? You sure are.
It would take some real discipline not to. Because you got to believe they're looking, they're desperate, they're desperate. Boom, they see it, and they totally. The part that's hard is that they totally forget that they're on the detour. Right? Because they had the detour clue and they were looking for the balloons. Is that right?
No, they were looking for the detour clue. You had to go to Iguana Bridge, and when you get to Iguana Bridge, you have the detour, which gave you the option to go to the balloons or to the flags.
Yeah. So I mean, the fact that they found the roadblock one is kind of crazy and really speaks to how small of an area that this whole part of the leg was working in.
And they could have had a roadblock before the detour. Like, they didn't know the detour existed yet. They didn't get to that.
Yeah, it actually, right. It took Pink Team, Kishori and Karishma's panicky franticness with Juan and Shane, who were disgusting sweatbags from running around doing the detour, that even promoted the idea of, wait, did we skip something?
Yeah.
I do want to counter, though. I do feel like the bottom of the pack is the we're here for the experience group, right? And like Maya and Rohan, here for the experience. Chris and Mary, here for the experience. Anthony and Bailey, here for the experience. Michelle and Sean, here for the experience. It's what I believe. I think they are bottom of the pack. I don't think that they're going to make it very long in this season.
I don't think they are here for the experience. I think they have a much more of a competitive edge. Did you hear their like self-talk? These are people that are determined and not just going to be like, oh, we had fun.
Right,
No,
right. They're not on Chris and Mary's level.
No.
I would almost, would you put Anthony and Bailey in Chris and Mary's level?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's a level up from that maybe is what Josh is kind of mushing the two together. But there's a clear separation between that and the teams that are there to win.
Yeah.
Where do we stand with this mega leg?
I would be more of a fan of the mega leg if they actually traveled other places. the fact that it had to be kept in this small radius was the downfall of the Mega Leg.
I think logistically they needed this, but I think it's also exhausting for 3 hours of television to be in the same location when this is a show that prides themselves on traveling the world.
Completely agree with that point.
One thing I did want to bring up too, and I think this factors into it, is that I'm kind of annoyed with this whole no teams get eliminated thing. Like, it's kind of makes the end of every episode not as exciting to have that one moment where you like take a breath and you say, wait a second, is he going to say that they're not eliminated? Oh, of course, everyone who gets to the mat is going to be eliminated. Okay, we see Chris and Mary are in last place. They're probably not going to make it up. Okay. And so there's something about that, and I don't know if that has to do with Mega Legs, but it does have to do with show structure and the way the race is formatted. I would rather not have a Mega Leg and have some non-elimination weeks. I think that that's actually more exciting television for me than it is to have this Mega Leg and watching a bunch of people sweaty having to do a challenge that, like, who wants to be eliminated because they sweat too much? You know, that's like in a Mega Leg where you've been running around in a hot city for all day. Like, I don't know. It just didn't feel like it was well designed in the producer's point.
I said to Tom, the whole sweating issue while they're trying to face paint, I said, yeah, I bet that wasn't an issue that the producers had anticipated. But
Yes.
of course, they're in like the blazing sun. They've been running around with heavy backpacks on them. They're sweating like pigs. And it was kind of hilarious to just see the paint just drip all down.
Yeah, Shane was just a dark army green color shirt with essentially a skeleton on his shirt also from wiping it all off. Derek, his face melted.
Anthony and Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony and Bailey, they had like the kind of the Joker from Dark Knight going on. And Sonny's had it all on her teeth.
Yeah,
That was
the
not
black teeth.
I hope I hope it didn't scare their kids like seeing that kind of makeup. It just was not
But
a good
especially
look.
like the part where they're actually painting, where it was so important that they got each color in the right placement on their face, but it's just all melting together. And like someone said, like, I don't know how to stop sweating.
Like Survivor has the dream team run all their challenges and test everything out before the tribes get out there and before they run the challenge, because once they're out there, you get one shot to run it.
I feel like they would have to have that.
I would think so too, but if that were the case, I don't know that makeup challenge runs the way it does.
Yeah.
Sweating and the melting
Yeah.
of it, or maybe they just kind of influence the experts.
You look like a party person.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He looks like a party planner. Yeah.
Yeah, party planner.
What teams are you buying stock in at this point?
Ricky and Cesar. I mean, judging by our rankings, they were fourth to last. They're a solid team. They're smart. They know what they're doing. Maybe they're not the most athletic, but what we're seeing this season is nothing's athletic, you know, like even carrying balloons is not athletic. That's the physical challenge. This is not an athletic game. And I can only imagine it's even less when you don't have to run airport to airport, when you don't have to run car to car. And so I actually see them doing much better than I expected them to. I'm buying stock in them.
I'm buying stock in Rod and Leticia.
Yeah.
Very impressive showing. I mean, I don't love their communication style. They do a lot of bickering, a lot of arguing, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's been working for them. And their athletic ability is very impressive despite their age.
Yeah.
I'm buying anyone's stock that may be available with Ricky and Scissor. And I will take also more Amber and Vinny stock. I like what I saw from them. I think that their ability to jump up from 12th to 7th really kind of feels right. We'll see how their navigation in cars actually gets righted or continues to be wrong, and maybe that puts them out earlier than we thought. But I'm buying stock in them, and I think I'm buying stock also in Derek and Shalisa. I think we all had a kind of a little bit of a little trouble kind of placing them, but I don't think that they'll have any issues as far as like knowing their strengths, knowing their weaknesses, knowing how they operate, know who does what, know who does this, you do that. And I think that they're kind of like the tortoise and the hare, and they'll plot along, and I think they'll be around a while. So I'm buying some stock in that, and I'm selling stock. People are buying. I'm short in Rod and Leticia. Oh wait, actually, I'm selling any stock I had in Kishori and Karishma. I am dumping it all, folks. I'm dumping my Pinks team stock. They're panicky, their hystericalness. It's uncomfortable to watch because, like you said before, Josh, if you're Juan and Shane and you're sweating and you're trying to run your race, and then boom, here come these. Well, did you go to the bridge? Is this the bridge? We're interrupting you and we're talking over you and we're not letting you go. No, sell. I'm out on them.
And who would want to work with them?
Nobody.
It's
too much. It's too much.
I do just want to ask one more question. What I'm thinking about is the social media aspect of Yvonne and Melissa and how they are not present on social media. And I'm thinking about the growth over teams over the course of 2 years. And I'm thinking about if I broke up with someone 2 years ago, now I have to watch all of those moments again on television. That is painful and exhausting and probably a bit embarrassing. And I would probably delete my social media too.
wow.
So we're betting our chips on they're broken up.
I was thinking about if I was in those shoes, I can't imagine the pain that they would be going through. I would bet that they broke up.
I think, you know what, Josh? I think that's a good theory. And I love some hot gossip like that. So I don't hope that they broke up, but it'll be interesting to see if you're right.
Not that we were really given such foreshadowing, but to start the episode, Melissa said, we're both so strong and independent. We always think we're right a lot.
Yep.
Can I throw this theory out there? I want your thoughts on this. Are they being under-edited on purpose? Is that possible? Because I feel like we haven't seen a lick of them. I have even written in there the balloon detour, no issues, which is code for I didn't see them struggle or really talk or anything, and we just kind of glossed over them.
Yeah.
Even in the face painting and the roadblock, it was a little bit, there wasn't much to them. And I get that they finish in 5th place, so they weren't in the front pack, they weren't in the back, so they kind of blend in. But is it possible that they're being under edited because of this theory, if the breakup theory is true?
No, my vote is no.
Why
My
not?
vote is that when we ranked them, we all ranked them and said, they're middle of the pack. And what are they doing? They're middle of the pack.
Okay.
And maybe they don't have any content to put on the television that's not freaking crying every second or yelling at each other or whatever, making mistakes because they think that a park is a bridge. It is not. And so they're fine. They're middle of the pack, and that's why they're not getting airtime.
I think our detective skills led us to a conclusion, but you could be right, Josh. Maybe it's just middle of the pack syndrome that they're suffering from 2 episodes in. All right, we're ready to cross the finish line here. I'm not a fan of the 13 teams, and here's why. It's very difficult to get to know 13 teams. It's 26 people. It's 13 different dynamics, 13 different storylines to try to follow, 13 different placements in each leg. Or as we go on, it gets, 13 to 12. But to me, it's too much. And the 90 minutes is not necessarily lending itself well there. I think that what I would have liked to have seen with the 13th team and that kind of adding a team is to try something new. And I don't think that having somebody cut off in the middle of a mega leg is it. I'm thinking back to cutting somebody out in the halfway through the first leg, or throw some other random challenge that can, I don't know, take a chance. Amazing Race. I'm thinking of Survivor using, this is a bad example, but like the Change History Hourglass Gray Rock challenge, something with a speed bump that creates a advantage in it later so people have to take a risk. Maybe something like that could somehow be worked into the game, that in maybe season 37, 38 could be retweaked and reworked and advance the format and the game and the strategy forward. I think that there was a missed opportunity there.
My crossing the finish line is just acknowledging something in this episode that I had always thought that The Amazing Race is a very family-friendly, lovely show. And I think we're starting to see some more adult tones that I was a bit thrown off by. So Rod and Letitia, when they got to the mat, she said, "I gave you all the action I could today. Don't ask for more when we get home." And it was like, whoa, I can't believe they just said that. Or when they were painting someone's face, someone said, "You sexy, sweaty mess." It was like, what? Or even Danny and Angie, he was like, "Is this harder than childbirth?" And she goes, "We'll see what comes out at the end," or even the yellow team like started kissing on the mat and they were like, "Ew," like it was just so interesting to see this other side of The Amazing Race that I feel like we've been so conditioned to believe is just this amazing, loving, culture, family-friendly show, that now we've got a 9:30 to an 11 o'clock slot, and we can play more to the SNL parents just put their kids to bed crowd. And that's maybe what they're tapping into. And I think it's really interesting to think about.
It's good stuff. Nicole?
I can't help watch this season and feel this sense of COVID PTSD still. And like, I thought we were beyond that, but now having to watch this season, that was this out of order season. And it's not even like they're like all wearing masks all the time.
No.
They are sometimes. The one team, black team,
Chris and Mary,
would pull them out sometimes. But it's just this feeling of restriction that is very uncomfortable, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's like we've moved on.
Yeah.
But going back to that place
it just feels stale.
And it's not helping the season.
Correct.
Yeah. Just a quick recap of our power rankings. We cross off Chris and Mary, the black team. Josh and I had them at 13. Good job, Josh. We get the number 13 team, our last place team off the board, that big number. And Nicole, nice job as well. You're number 11. So after 2 legs, Nicole still in first place with a score of 68. And Josh and I perfectly mirrored here, Josh. We both had Maya and Rohan 9th. We both had Chris and Mary number 13. So we're tied in second with 69 points. Our 2 lowest overall ranked teams are the first 2 gone. Nice job, everybody. That's cool. Pretty good. That's pretty damn good. We'll see if
Danny and Angie.
Yeah.
You're next.
Team Walla Walla better watch out. Well, that does it for this edition of the ReRACEables Podcast. Thank you to Josh and Nicole. I'm your host, Tom. We appreciate your support all season long as we cover season 36 of The Amazing Race. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe our social media accounts at Tribal Council Blog, and check out the Survivor 46 content at tribalcouncilblog.com as well. Thanks for all your support, and we'll see you next week.